everyone, and welcome to Aislynn Sunday in the Garden with Aislynn and Joe behind the camera back there.
Hello.
Hi. And things are a little different today. We're a little dirtier, a little worn for the wear. We've been doing a little bit of camping up here at Lake Corpus Christi, and so because we were here this morning, this is where we decided to do the Sunday Garden Live. And I thought it would be an interesting concept to talk about the idea that where there's water, there's life. And we've been getting a lot of water in our area in the South Texas region. Our lake, this is one of the places that we source water from for our area, is actually really full, nice to the edge, and there's lots of green things growing, and we still have flowers in mid-July, and it's been fantastic. It's been such a great weekend to be up here, and every time Joe and I get to come up here and spend a birthday weekend with one of our best friends, we come up here and we like to check this whole place out because there's lots of cool plants growing. And I will tell you that I'm really excited to show you as we go down one of the paths that there's actually still fruit on the trees up here. So much fruit because we've had so much water. And of course, this particular space that we're in has a lot of native growth going around it. And of course, lots of master naturalists and the Texas Parks and Wildlife has done work to keep the native plants really doing well in this area. But a lot of the plants are actually productive plants that in the very worst case scenario, humans could eat from them. But over here in this area, I just pointed out a few things. If you'll notice right here, that kind of white silvery looking thing, that's a sage. It gets purple flowers on it. A lot of times this time of year when you've got a lot of rain, a sage will actually flower when it's either got, it's kind of like a cactus almost. When it's got too little water or too much water, that's when a sage will actually do a really good blossoming. So that's going on down here. You also have a lot of the mimosa trees. The mimosa trees grow really well in our area. We also have some, they're called honey mesquite trees. And like this one over here is actually already making beans. So you can see here some of those beans. These are all things that you actually can use for medicinal purposes. So let's walk on up here and check out more of what they have going on here. Now, this is the, this is what they called, we actually looked the word up so that we knew what we were talking about.
Refectory.
It's a refectory, right? Well, I said, okay, well, what's a refectory? Well, a refectory was basically just like if you had an area where people were staying, this is where everyone would come together. This is where they would have the dining, the meetings, church, if they were going to have church, anything like that. And so this particular establishment was built for the Corps of Engineers, Corps of Volunteer Engineers. Yeah, so you can see this is Lake Corpus Christi. We were actually staying in a campsite just right over there. This is an amazing and beautiful place to stay. It's really within about 40 minutes from Corpus Christi. Super quick trip up here. We could actually run back to Corpus Christi really quickly over the weekend if we needed to. So something to do if you live in our area. It's a really good place to, I'm out of breath because I walked all those stairs.
Well, catch your breath and answer this. What Crystal says, what are the medicinal purposes of the mesquite bean that you were talking about?
Well, the mesquite bean people can use for a lot of things. It actually can be used for flour. You can grind it and make, there's people that make chocolate chip cookies out of it. I don't have a lot of experience with it because I've never gone down that road, but I know there's some other things you could do with it as well. So if you just gave a quick search on mesquite beans, and you'll get some information about different ways that you could use a mesquite bean as well. So, okay, caught my breath. All right, let's keep walking. I just wanted to, oh, there's my water. I was perfectly aligned, thank you. I just wanted to get a good look. This is just, of course, lots and lots of life, lots of green, lots of flowers. We've got water in our lake. This means that we have water to drink. That means that we don't have to go through as many of the drought spells. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean stop conserving water, because a huge part of the reason why this refectory was built was because there was a core volunteer group of engineers that were helping us build this amazing location here, this state park here, right on a water reserve that our areas were going to be using. And of course, we've got some dams connected to this as well that help us with some of our water storage. But again, water is where life comes to. So without the water, without the clean, fresh water available to us, we don't have a lot of life in that area. And so those are some things to keep in mind when we are conserving water and when we are doing the things that we do on our land that affect the water around us. Let's go. You can see the sage in bloom over there pretty nicely and big. Back over here on this side, these are all just really actually productive native plants. All of them have some sort of need. There's also things that have all kinds of different medicinal uses that I don't necessarily know about, but almost every native plant that we have down in South Texas has some sort of productive value to it. Just like the insects, just like all the life that we draw in. And all of this water that we've been getting, all the rain that we've been getting, is going to be really, really good for our 21-22 season gardens. Our fall gardens are going to have lots of moisture to pull from. All of our different wildlife is going to have lots of insects to eat. Let's walk over here because I can show you a few pretty plants over here.
Oh, it's a little snake, huh?
Oh, all right. That's a little green tree snake.
And he is quick.
He's going to go... I was guessing he'd go to that tree. A little garden snake. I have a tree one like that over in one of my gardens. I'm so glad you caught that. Good job. So over here you can see as they put in native plants that draw in different types of butterflies. That's the Turk's cap, just like what I grow. You all know that that flower is edible. And then of course some more of the sage here as well. This is an orange lantana. Lantana grows really well. A lot of the lantana froze, but some of it's coming back, clearly. You can see little pops of it starting to come back around over here. And then over there, and then some more Turk's cap. This is just a really beautiful place. I think that you could do like some weddings and things like that here too, probably events. I'm sure they do different types of events. Now they also have just across the road over here, a nice little path, the Kiskady Trail, with lots of birds on it. And it comes out on the other end, connected to what they call a bird's nest that they've created, a space for people to sit and watch birds. So a lot of master naturalists and birders will come and do things, and volunteers will come and do things here at the park to make these spaces really nice for people. We have really, really enjoyed walking these trails, riding our bikes on these trails, and looking at all the life in here, enjoying the shade that it provides, especially in the heat of the summer.
Yeah, if you come prepared, Lake Corpus Christi, the state park, is a fantastic 1, 2, 3 day trip from Corpus Christi.
When we actually stayed in our tent, now our group always has lots of trailers and electricity and all that kind of stuff to go with it, but we stay in a tent pretty easily for a couple of nights. Get a little dirty, no big deal. We're enjoying it. I wanted to show you, this is what I want to show you. Check this out. Texas persimmons. So if you don't have a Texas persimmon tree planted in your yard yet, you should totally get one, because you can actually eat these fruits. Now, just because I'm cautious and I also know I don't want to test my skills that well, I'm not going to eat this today. I don't know that I want to go home with the, what do you call that stuff that happens sometimes for humans? Diarrhea. Here's another one over here that I found earlier. Same type of thing. It's a wild productive as well. But I don't know. I've actually even lost the thought in my mind. What do we say? Gum hollow? No, something like that. Tallow. Tallow wood. Gum hog tallow. Something like that. Anyways, Texas has a lot of fruit-bearing plants. It just tends to be different. We don't actually necessarily have the same fruit-bearing plants that you might have in England, which is where a lot of the fruit in the more northern regions originally came to Americans. Of course, a lot of the food that came, fruit and vegetable production that came for the southern folks like us, would be from the indigenous tribes that lived here first and knew things better than we did when we came here and tried to bring plants down here to produce fruit that actually wouldn't produce down here. Well, we've kind of gone back to that a little bit with a lot of the industrial systems that we're using.
Another snake.
There.
That was black and long.
Oh, yeah. Within those systems, we now have begun to learn what are the things that are going to really fruit well for us. Persimmon is a great one. Not just this Texas wild persimmon, but also other different types of persimmons as well. Look at this one. This is some sort of a holly. I don't know what kind, but... One of the things I've mentioned to you guys in the past, but I'd like to say again, my favorite device for looking plants up is Google Lens. Use that but give it a few hits a few times because it'll give you incorrect information sometimes. So you have to take a few pictures of the plants and then look at it and compare it to what you know. Or if you're still feeling cautious about it, reach out to me and I can help you with it, because sometimes it just takes an experienced person to like match the photos up and know what they're doing. So this is the bird sighting area where they've gone in and put in spaces to make it more comfortable for life to live here.
Different kinds of bird features. Sadly, all of their water features seem to not be working.
Probably what happened, if I had to guess, is that everything was full of water for so long that just like at my house and your house too, probably, you're now all of a sudden going, oh, I better go water. I haven't watered in over a week. They're probably in the same situation up here where somebody needs to get up here now because we've been without water for enough days.
Yeah, you're probably right.
There's, look, come on, look there. Some lychee that grows on the side. This is a really important thing because these guys actually help us. They help us with decomposition. They help us with drawing the nutrients of the different types of plants they need and everything. So it's really good to have wood, fallen wood, life. Adds to that life. The water comes in, the spores launch, growth, all that. Another thing I thought I'd point out is we had a lot of these harvester ants. Careful to not get stung by one. We had a lot of these over at the Learning Garden when I used to teach the Learning Garden. They can be a beast. When I get stung by them, they actually cause me to have a real problem. That being said, I learned about a product called Come and Take It that was originally formulated for the fire ants. I've told you guys about it before. It's a granular spinosad. If you're having problems with cut ants or harvester ants, the best way to handle them is to use that stuff as well. Go in and stir up the center of the mounds and then let some of them come up, drop some of the pellets down there. They're going to take it down in. What happens is that they create underground a system of basically bacteria that kills everything underground. They've got a whole like system of underground tunnels that have different kinds of spores, bacteria, fungus, and stuff growing in them that helps create their pathways. And then they come and cut all they harvest everything. They make trails even. You see? Trail from one thing to the next. And then they'll make a trail all the way across where they literally cut out. They'll take in all the seeds. So they're horrible for gardeners. They're great for birds. And they're great for horny toads, which we are having an uprise of horny toads in Texas. I don't know if everybody knew that or not, but they're coming. And it's probably because of all those awesome harvester ants we have. So, all right, well, this is a nice little place. Our Lantana's starting to come back after the freeze. I'm happy to see that. So if you ever wanted to come up here and check out the birds, this is where you can come and watch quietly. You see? We saw a cardinal earlier. It's pretty extra quiet today. So that's pretty much all we have for today. That's our great, awesome weekend. We had a great time up here at Corpus Christi, Lake Corpus Christi. I hope whether you're in the Corpus Christi area near us, if you're in the Corpus Christi area near us, or you're visiting the Corpus Christi area, definitely put Lake Corpus Christi on your stop. Whether it's to tent camp, whether it's to boat ride, go on hikes. See it up there in the tree? It's a red cardinal, a male. No? We've seen all kinds of adventures today. Whether you're living in our area or someone else's area or in a different part of the country, definitely go in and check out your state parks. Go in and see the kind of work that centuries, maybe not centuries, decades, let's go there, decades of volunteers and support and the nonprofit funding that you give to your state in order to keep natural and native spaces available for you. Lake Corpus Christi is a wonderful space and we really like it up here, and I hope you guys had a great time on our little adventure, and we will see you all next week. I love you. Check out the podcast. It launches tomorrow morning, episode 47.
Something like that.
Yep. All right. Bye. Bye. Have a wonderful weekend.